This is the National Exhibition Centre in Birmingham, the heart of the UK. And for the 23rd consecutive year, it's playing host to Autosport International. Covering an area of over 1 million square feet, the show features every level of motorsport. There's plenty of club-level racing on offer, with organisations such as the British Racing and Sports Car Club displaying the dozens of different categories that they run every year. Given the economic situation, there's an increasing emphasis on affordable racing like the Fun Cup, a one-make team endurance championship where races are up to 6 hours long and costs are shared between drivers. But the cars are still competitive, and 2012 sees the introduction of a new sequential gearbox.
All the drivers have raved about it. The car feels lighter, it feels more nimble, it's just great. No clutch going up the gearbox. So it should be an exciting year, 2012. For example, we have 56 hours of track time available just in the UK alone. So the racecraft is built up very quickly. Normally with sprint racing, a novice remains a novice all year and maybe the year after. Not with Fun Cup. By the end of the first season, they've built up a lot of track time.
In 2011, Paul also ran the Seika UK Challenge. It features 140-mile-an-hour sports cars, but again, the emphasis is on value for money.
Yeah, we had some really good racing with the Seikas last year. The teams like the cars, the drivers like the cars. We just want to get more cars out there. We have an invitation class also to bring other GT cars, sports cars in the same race weekend. And the races are normally 2 half-hour races followed by a 45-minute race, all of which can be shared with 2 drivers.
The home of the Seikas is in Holland, and over the last few years it's really taken off there.
Yeah, I mean, in Holland there's some large grids, and they always see 30, 40 cars in some cases, and we would like to do the same. It's hard at the moment starting something new, and that's one of the reasons why we offer the invitation guys to come along and join us, make it more of a spectacle.
Chris, we're here at the Autosport show. We're looking at all the different things on offer, and this caught our eye. This looks very different. Tell us more about it.
This is a very new motorsport. Basically, our background is we run quad motocross racing. Been doing that for 15 years, and we've introduced this year these machines. The machines are Polaris RZR 900. So 900 obviously is the engine size CC. There's an automatic gearbox, so it's literally a press and go, brake and throttle. The skill with this racing isn't down to the amount of power or brake horsepower you've got at the back wheels. The skill is in the way you drive it, the way you deal with the terrain. You're going over jumps, going down some holes. It's not like four-wheel drive racing, it's fast, 30, 40, 50 miles an hour. The races are 20 minutes long, and the terrain is jumps and bumps, and during the day the rougher it gets.
What's the level of interest been like, and do you think it's going to be taking off quite quickly in terms of numbers?
Absolutely. This year I think we've got 22 entries already, and I think we'll be inundated with people this year.
One of the busiest stands in the arena featured Go Motorsport, an award-winning initiative.
Go Motorsport is basically the promotion activity of the Motorsports Association. So it's trying to get new people into sport, rekindle people who were involved before to get them back, to increase public awareness. It's a sort of national PR campaign trying to involve top-end motorsport ambassadors in publicity activity. At the other end of the scale, we've got a schools and colleges programme where we're putting all 10 regional officers into schools and colleges, probably 30 to 40 times a year each, spending a day turning the kids onto the technology, to motorsport, to the opportunities, and in between encouraging the clubs to get their act together to go out and be positive and develop their sport, and everything between those two extremes.
Joe Public sees Formula One and a couple of other things, and they think that's motorsport, but there are so many layers and levels out there.
Yeah, and it's the layers below the high profile stuff. I mean, everybody's heard of Formula One, possibly the World Rally Championship, maybe touring cars. After that, people cease to be aware, and they just do not know and believe that normal people with regular jobs can be involved in motorsport and have loads of fun, but not go bust doing it.
And we're not just talking about being involved as a driver here, you're looking at other levels like marshalling and being involved as officials as well.
The word is involvement, and to be honest, without the officials and without the marshals we have no sport. And if we're recruiting somebody into motorsport, we're not actually fussed whether we're talking about a potential rallying competitor or a potential scrutineer. It's another face joining the sport, and we just need people to come and join us, and we need the infrastructure people as much as we need the competitors. The first step, coming back to it, is get involved with your local car club. Find your local car club, go along, introduce yourself, they'll snap your hand off, talk to them, find out what's going on.
What's the reaction that you get at shows like this? Are people surprised at actually how easy it can be?
Yeah. The most common reaction is, I didn't realise we could do this. Everybody, unfortunately, has looked at the high glamour bits, they've looked at the £100,000 rocket ships, and they thought, I can't aspire to that, I can't do this. And that's wrong. You've got to go out and beat the drum and tell everybody we're here, and just keep repeating the message until everybody's out playing.
The VAG Trophy is an example of a recent success story within British motorsport, boasting huge grids and some terrific racing.
The VAG Trophy is a single marque championship for Volkswagen Audi Group vehicles across the board. Up to a certain age, I believe it's 1996 at the moment, but that encompasses Golfs, Audis, Seats. In the main, they're cars that the competitors have built themselves that originally were road cars.
And the key idea of this is to, as much as you can within motorsport, try and keep the costs down, isn't it?
The regs are written with that spirit. There's a great spirit in the paddock. The idea being to keep the costs down and keep the racing about the drivers and the setup rather than who's got the biggest pockets.
And to be fair, you don't need to be racing at 200 miles an hour to have a great time. It's about how close and competitive the racing is, whatever the speeds and whatever the cost.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, my car's only got 130 brake horsepower as opposed to the hundreds that the larger series have got. Yet the racing's close and competitive. And I'm going off the start line with 28, 29 other Golfs, door to door, door handle to door handle, down to that first corner. The adrenaline rush is amazing.
One series with long-term success is Legends Racing. The cars are based on scaled-down versions of pre-war American machines. The action is nail-bitingly close, and each event features no fewer than 6 races.
Legends Championship's been going for a long time now. You've been involved yourself as a driver for over 10 years.
Yep.
Why is it so much fun? Why is it so addictive?
The cars themselves are really good to drive, good close racing, go somewhere at Brands Hatch, go to Paddock Hill 3, 4, 5 wide and all come out still pointing in the right direction. So it is good racing. Engines put out about 125 brake horsepower. So I think the minimum weight with driver is 610 kilos. So there's quite a lot of power there to the weight. They've got a lock diff, so you got to use the power through the corners. The brakes are quite good on them, so you can be quite late on the brakes and make it into the corner. They are a bit lively on the back end, so you can get the back end out and hold it and drift it around the corner. So they are quite really manageable out there.
If you were at Autosport, you couldn't miss this high-tech work of art. Bloodhound SSC is set to shatter the world land speed record at 1,000 miles an hour. The attempt is being directed by Richard Noble, and the car will be driven by the current record holder, who explained that this is an engineering project with more than just one mission.
Richard Noble initially came to me and said, we've got this crazy idea for a 1,000 mile an hour car. Would you help us to select a driver? So I started to look at all the criteria for how you would choose a driver for this, and one of them, of course, is experience, which I alone have in terms of supersonic driving. So my first question was, do I want to do this? And I spent a year working with the team, looking at the technology, and realised that actually they were taking it even a level above the current world land speed record, which we set 14 years ago, 763 miles an hour. We were putting more technology, more knowledge, more experience into it. This was going to be something truly extraordinary. And pretty much at that point I said, well, could I put my own name in there? And Richard said, I was so hoping you'd say that. So I think I was slightly seen off by Richard, but 5 years of research and design has been the background now. This 2012 is the year that we build the car, 2013 is the year we start running.
Almost that the speed record is not top of the list with this project. It's more about the journey, the innovation, the people involved, and perhaps more importantly, getting more young people involved in engineering, British people.
You're absolutely right. This is an engineering adventure aiming to inspire a generation. taking a wider view than just a record, what are our big societal challenges, whether it's energy or transport or the environment? Actually, the big challenge is none of those things. It's the people who are at school today who will be solving those problems and living in that high technology, low carbon world of the future. How are they going to get inspired about science and engineering and engaged in it when science and engineering is now something that happens inside your iPhone, not something that people actually do? So we're trying to reach out to a whole group with something that you can see and feel and touch and understand. Jet engines and rocket engines and 1,000-mile-an-hour cars, run live video from the cockpit direct onto the internet. Technology's never existed before. We can now actually do that. We can put live data straight into the classroom, so while we're doing a turnaround on the desert, the kids can do the same data analysis in science lessons in the classroom. A unique opportunity. Reach out to all those 8 and 10 and 12-year-old kids who would, one day will create things we haven't even dreamt of. That's the problem we're trying to solve. And the way we're going to do that is to reach the limit of where modern technology will take us, 1,000 miles an hour. Along the way, of course, we also have the advantage, we've got a car with a Union flag on the fin, we are promoting great British engineering on a global stage and showcasing what we do absolutely brilliantly well in this country. It's a very exciting opportunity for us.
That's all from Autosport, but we'll have a special in-depth report on the amazing Bloodhound project on the show in the coming weeks.